I'm mad that I can't control it. I'm mad that nobody will tell me what to do. Wearing a mask and they're not, or they're wearing a mask and I'm not. I'm mad that I don't know whether to wear a mask. I'm mad that you're looking at me because I'm wearing a mask. I'm mad that you're looking at me because I'm not. I'm mad because I can't figure out. Would somebody tell me what to do?
Peace of mind. I want you to walk in peace. I know these are difficult days and there's lots of things that we could find to disagree about and there's lots of things that we could have an opinion on, but I actually believe that if we're gonna build our life on anything, we ought to build it on the truth of God's word.
When people who would normally find themselves being jealous and envious of you find themselves saying, I like him or I like her so much, I am now rooting for them to even bypass me. They're just such a great person. I want them to receive whatever blessings and opportunities there is for them to receive.
They hurt my feelings. If you have your spare tire, you forgive them and move on. Don't have unrealistic expectations. That person that loves you so much, no matter how good they are, at times they're going to disappoint you. They're going to say things that they shouldn't. Don't be easily offended.
Don't let money be your decision maker in too many things. We all have to have money to live, and I realize that. We need to support ourselves, and sometimes money is involved in helping us make a decision. But when money becomes your motivator and your decision maker, you're very likely to end up being unfulfilled and empty on the inside.
You can find malevolence and ignorance at the level of the individual. And so we would say that's the malevolence and ignorance that characterizes you and other individuals. And it's a viciously powerful and terrifying force.
Here's a surprising fact. You may feel the dread, the fear, the kind of anxious feelings that come with a big social situation, but you may still want to go. And that's how you also know that this is probably more in the lane of fear and dread and anxiety than it is just disliking small talk.
I'm talking to someone who said, you know what, man? I've taken so many hits. I'm just tired. I understand. So here's what I want to say to you. As you look at yourself, look at your life during the pandemic and out of the pandemic, here's what I had to do to deal with anxiety. I'm not putting myself at risk.
When you don't know why you do what you do, you slow down, you get discouraged, you get knowing your purpose. Why you do what you do is the secret to two very important qualities that you have to have in your life if you're going to succeed in life.
The next time you have a mission and you plan that contingency and you actually execute and implement what you said you're going to do, guess what? You will accomplish the mission. There's a whole part of ownership that preempts the problem. If you've got someone that knows, if I know that I can make an excuse, then guess what? I'm not going to set things up properly. If I don't set things up properly, more often than the other way, I will fail to execute what I'm supposed to execute.
You ain't got to be tripping about it. It's just really more to life than this. But you got to figure out the why part. What helped me get to the why part. See, the why part came to me when I discovered something that he gave to all of us. See, God gives everybody a gift. He never creates a soul without giving them a gift. You all are gifted. You don't have to be comedy. It don't have to be music, but you gifted.
And growth has literally placed me where I am. So what are you doing to develop yourself? It's a huge question. And the 15 laws of the 15 laws of personal growth, basically these laws are all about developing yourself. On the first question, you're foundational for your future. The second question is all about compounding, multiplication. That's where you build a huge business, when you know how to develop other people.
A lot of us never accomplish our mission because we will not be honest about our motives. So we'll say what we think we should want. And that's why we never get anywhere in prayer, and why we never get anywhere in self-awareness. And this is why we never get past the same cycle of trying to satisfy our needs, because we will not even be honest with God.
When you're kind, you draw people to you. When you're good-natured, friendly, opportunity will come your way. People want to do business with people that they like. When we're hiring someone, their resume tells us what they can do, what their skills are, but we always meet with them to see what their attitude is. Are they positive? Are they friendly, kind, considerate?
Your values in life determine your stress, determine your success, and determine your salvation. Now, you may not realize this, but your values could be causing stress in your life. Unclear values cause confusion. They cause confusion in your life.
I believe the solution to self-doubt is to build something bigger than that doubt, which is to build our self-confidence. And one thing to know about the fact that you doubt yourself is, one, I struggle with it as well. One of the reasons I've had to go learn to build all these tools for myself is because in my life, my baseball career, my academic career, my business career, my speaking career, I've been riddled with self-doubt. That creeps up all the time in our lives. Am I enough? Am I good enough?
Your philosophy comes from what you learn, comes from what you know, comes from other people's experiences. 3 ways now to learn from other people. Here's number 1, learn from what you see. One of the great watchwords of these early years of the 21st century, pay attention. If you just watch, you can pick up clues. Success leaves clues.
You know, everything that we hear doesn't have to be something new. It just needs to be now. It needs to be what's for now. And so I'm calling this message, Prepare for Increase. The word complaining came up in my heart. So I wrote down complaining, and then the Lord spoke to my heart, beware of complaining. It weakens your wall of protection. Angels hearken to God's word. Speak the word and experience more of their help.
You are still maintaining an optimistic point of view. And what that means is that you, when you're an optimist, you believe that your actions and your thoughts matter. You believe that you can handle what's on your plate. You believe that based on your thoughts and your actions, you can positively affect the outcome of whatever it is that you're dealing with.
You can get defined easily by other people's perceptions of you. My whole life, I was convinced, when I was a young man, I was convinced I was a loser. Absolutely convinced. Until I started getting really good at martial arts, I never thought I was good at anything. I just had a very low self-esteem. And I was limiting myself by what I thought were other people's opinions of me. This is when I was a really young kid. And I didn't figure this out until I was like in my 30s.
You won't need that rest. Chances are you will realize that the desire to rest was just weakness. It was just the desire to take the path of least resistance, the downhill path, the easy path. And by simply going through the motions, you overcame that path. And you stayed on the righteous path, the disciplined path. You stayed on the war path.
My gift, though, has made a way. Why won't you find out from God why you were born by getting your gift and pursuing it? Stop chasing the passion. And come on, man, pursue the gift. You people been tripping yourself out for years, chasing something that ain't yours. I want to lead the choir. You ain't the choir leader.
You don't start because you don't realize yet that the fruit of everything good in life begins with a challenge. There's nothing easy in life, worthwhile in life. Everything is uphill that's worthwhile. And it's not going to come to you, and it's not going to fall in your lap, and it's not going to be something that, oh my gosh, it just was so simple. It's always going to be difficult.
Is that where your focus is? What you expected your kid to be like at age 18? That you expected that you would have kids by now? What you expected to happen this year in your career? If that is your emotional focus, it is going to kill your favor. I wonder, do we have too much of a blueprint of how God is going to bless us? And I wonder, have we lived in it so long that we no longer see it for what it is?
What would happen in your marriage, your relationships, if you'd make a small attitude adjustment? Instead of being contentious, hard to get along with, you'd start being friendly, loving, respectful. Instead of saying harsh, critical words, you would start giving compliments, telling your spouse how much you love them, how blessed you are to have them in your life. Just a small adjustment.
Are you focusing on all your energies? You have a limited amount of energy. You don't have unlimited energy. You know that. That's why you get tired. That's why you get fatigued. Why you get worn out. You don't have unlimited energy. Since you don't have unlimited energy, I highly suggest you don't waste any of it on something that you can't change in the past. Why in the world would you give one more second of emotional energy to something that is never going to change?
You throw yourself out there past where you're comfortable, and you do an 85 degrees behavior and you knock it out of the park, and you go, your brain starts to believe it. Repetitiously, when you start doing that, you build a new line. Now you're 85 degrees. That's number one. The second way, though, is association. If you're around people, and whatever that endeavor is, if it's a sport you're in, or if it's a business, or your faith, or your peace, if you begin to associate with people who live in that space at a higher temperature than you, through association, you get heated up.
Gathering information and sorting through it. One, the information that would apply to you, and what you think would be valuable based on your current philosophical opinion. So read all the books. Our lives are greatly affected by what we learn and what we know.
Disgust is a negative emotion, but it can have a very positive, powerful effect. Disgust says, I've had it. What an important day that could be.
You say, well, I'm not really complaining about God. I'm just complaining about my situation. But do we believe God's in control? Well, I just think God's in control of my blessings, not this stuff. That you may show yourselves, and this is the part I love, that you may show yourselves to be blameless, guileless, innocent, uncontaminated, unrebukable in the midst of a crooked and a wicked generation, spiritually perverted and perverse.
You are reminded of what's actually important. And what's important is your health. What's important is your family and your friends. What's important is whether or not you are taking care of yourself and thinking positive thoughts versus negative thoughts. The world gave us a gigantic experiment.
for anybody else's benefit other than my own, or anybody else's approval other than my own. When I have a task, whether it's today I'm going to write 1,000 words, or 2,000 or whatever the number is. If I don't do that, I write things down. Like I'll write down a list of things that get accomplished that day. And if I don't accomplish that, I'll get sick. It'll drive me crazy. If I can't fill out that list, that drives me nuts.
The next time you get into a situation and you write down, or you take the excuses and the reasons that you come up with, look at them, and then figure out how those things were actually your fault, and or how you could have prevented them. So you take the most outrageous thing that you know you can't control, you figure out a way to control it, and you take ownership of that thing, and it's gonna make your life so much better.
Do you know how valuable it is to be given the gift of life? But then the incredible gift when you figure out why. Because how many people you know can't get it figured out? If you are sitting there thinking it's got to be more to life than this, it's because it probably is. It's probably because God is whispering in your ear saying it's more to life than this.
So you better start with yourself. Because if you're leading others and have nothing to give them, nothing to share with them, nothing to teach them, then I can promise you, you'll never be what you want to be as a leader. And I can promise you that after 40 years of personal growth, the secret of any success, if I've had any success at all, the secret of that success has been personal growth in my life.
It is time for you to focus on the favor that God has given you in this season of your life. And I promise you this, at Nizio, you will find what you're looking for. If you want to look for goodness, it's on your right hand. If you want to look for mercy, it's on your left hand.
But that's not how you have to stay. Try being kind, friendly, good-natured. You'll not only enjoy life more, but you'll go further. On an airplane, there's an instrument called an attitude indicator. It shows how level the plane is on the horizon. And if the pilot wants to ascend, he tilts the plane nose high. If he wants to descend, he tilts it nose down. It's the same principle in life.
The problem is most people have never figured out what they are, where they came from, and whether they're valid or not. So really the secret of success is clarifying your values. This is a skill you need to learn. What is valuable to me and what is not valuable? Every time you make a decision, you reveal your values. My question is, do you know where your values came from? How are they working out? Is your life working out with those values? Do you know where you picked them up? Are they working for you?
You have to believe in you when it's a battle, when you're a hitter against a pitcher, or when you're a quarterback against a defense, or you're a defenseman in the NHL against their best offensive player, or you're a golfer and you have to make a 9-foot putt to win a tournament, right? You better have self-confidence. In fact, the separator, more often than not at the highest level in sports, is not they're a better shooter or a better putter or throw the ball a little bit faster, because everybody throws hard in the major leagues nowadays, it seems, right?
So that if this is missed and this is missed, I can catch up, I can fill the gap, I can do the job. We have to do it when we conduct meetings. We have to do it when we conduct training. We have to do it when we're in a class of just a few. What someone might have missed, we're there to fill in. Self-reliance. Primarily, we're learning to count on yourself.
You know, when you don't know what to do in a situation, keep doing what you know to do, which is to be thankful in all things. And in every situation, try to find something positive in it and speak that out. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you're by yourself, all by yourself, you don't complain. It's only when people come around. And the reason is we want somebody to feel sorry for us.
And if you can bring a sense of realism to it. So I call this, and I think Sean Anker's the one that came up with this term, realistic optimism. Realistic optimism is a really powerful mindset because you're not just putting a sunny spin on a crappy situation. You're being realistic about where you are in your life right now.
You're dealing in this world where someone's pretending to be something because it looks like that looks best on the numbers. You know, like they've looked at like some sheets and say they prefer Christian, nothing Mormon or anything crazy like that. This is what people prefer, so let's go Christian. They prefer a person who wears a tie and a suit all the time, so let's dress in the appropriate manner. And they sort of slowly but surely segment themselves into this ridiculous population of pretenders.